So another video from my couch, and today I want to make this more like talk type of video and talk about my journey in recovery. And also one thing, especially with the people I help one-on-one, like one thing that comes up very often is that like people start to recover, they start to get better, they start to have more like mental freedom and space to think about more like other stuff about their lives. For example, who they are as a person, what are their passions, what they like to do. Since in recovery, when you start to recover, then before you were so obsessed about the food and calories and your weight, and it took up like most of your time, like every day 24/7 you were obsessed about the food and calories, the way you eat and how you look like. So in recovery, when you have been in recovery for many months, you start to not care about the food so much or about your weight, and so then you start to think about other stuff going on in your life. And I just want to talk about my experience, and maybe you can relate to my story, or maybe you can get something out of this. So when I was actually in my eating disorder, I was very much involved with like the raw food community, and I was like passionate about the raw food. But I thought like this is my life goal, this is what I want to do. I'm truly like passionate about it, and I knew I have eating disorder, but I didn't associate my eating disorder with being like passionate about raw food. But now I know that I was simply so passionate about the raw food because I was obsessed. I was obsessed about the food and eating and being this perfect clean eater. And even if you know the Minnesota starvation experiment, then those men before their eating disorder, they didn't have any thoughts about food or interest in recipes or eating but when they had the eating disorder and they were deprived of food, they became suddenly so interested about the recipes, and a few of them even became these professional chefs after the experiment. And this is how powerful is restriction to your brain. It will literally make you so obsessed about the food and recipes, and this is exactly what resonated with me and exactly what happened to me. And during my eating disorder, I was involved with the like raw food community. I did raw food like recipe classes. Me and my friend, we published this raw food recipe book. We even were like interviewed in TV, and so it was complete like this is what I do, this is who I am, this is what my passion is. But like I have said how I started to recover on my channel as well, and this is when I understood that the raw food and everything is why I have the eating disorder in the first place. And it's not because I'm genuinely so passionate about raw food. No, it's just because I'm so obsessed about becoming this healthy, clean eater. And when I started my recovery, I understood that I need to let go of the raw food. And to me, it meant that I need to let go of everything I had built up over the past years. And me and my friend, we had this raw food business together. My income came from the like raw food, everything we did. And I had created this like following, and people knew me as this like raw food girl and everything. So I felt like trapped. Oh my god, I have an eating disorder, and now I have to admit like to myself but also everybody else that the raw food was part of my eating disorder. And I knew that I'm in a verge of a complete life change. And of course I felt a remorse. I felt so scared that now I have to start searching who I am all over again. And I felt so scared, and I had no idea what I will do, what I like to do, and I just felt like my world made like a yeah, 180-degree change. But at the same time, I just ask myself, okay, like you can be this raw foodist, but are you okay with having the eating disorder for the rest of your life? Because you know that it won't get you recovered if you're still gonna be this like obsessed with raw food. For me, there was, even though it felt so scary, I just knew like continuing like this, it's not an option. So what I mean is that I went through this complete life change. I needed to change my life completely, and I didn't know what to do, how to do it, who I am, what I want to, what I like to do. But I just throw myself into this recovery, and I told myself, okay, I'm just gonna focus on recovery, and the rest I will leave into the universe, and I trust that the universe will somehow like lead me to the next best thing, or the next hobby or focus or something I can do. And yeah, because I felt like I don't have any other option, because the other option is just to continue with the eating disorder. And yeah, it was just not even like thinkable for me. So yeah, I started my recovery, I started to get better, I started to eat whatever I want, yeah, let go of all the good and bad foods mindset and everything. And yeah, so many people now ask like how to know who you are, or how to find your passion after an eating disorder, because suddenly you realize that my life is so empty without the eating disorder. And this is how I felt as well. I didn't have any other hobbies or interests beside my like the raw food and healthy eating and stuff. But I will tell you how it was for me, was that like slowly I started to like think about what are my hobbies or passions or what I like to do. So I still love to write, I still love to make videos, I like to talk about the stuff I have learned over the years, yeah, and share something with the world. So this is how my raw food, like all the blogging and video making, started to be more about the intuitive eating and recovery. Yeah, and I didn't have any plan to be this like eating disorder recovery coach, but now this is, I guess, like who I am at the moment. I'm not gonna say this is like forever and ever, but I'm just this is how everything evolved by itself. And this is now my new passion, to help people with eating disorder and recovery, because I just feel I learned so much through this experience, and I recovered on my own. And that's why I learned so much about the eating disorder and recovery, and I want to share it with people. And especially when I see people getting better, recovering, they find my help useful, then this is, yeah, simply what I love to do right now. So yeah, but I remember I made these lists about like brainstorming of what I like to do, and I made a list about okay, what I'm good at and what I like to do. And I remember I wrote there something about I love to make videos, I love to speak about my experiences, I love writing, I love blogging, I love to take pictures. Also, I love the stuff about graphic design. I have learned graphic design, so actually I love to design books and websites and make things like pretty, and all the video editing stuff I like as well. Yeah, so these things kind of started to I started to do those things even when it wasn't my job, but I did them even without anybody paying me for them, because it simply was what I knew how to do and something I was passionate about. And also, since in my recovery I recovered on my own, I read about recovery like on a daily basis. I read books and websites and other people's stories. So I remember like in my recovery I was so hooked into all of the recovery stuff. And also my book is based on everything I learned during my recovery, and I put together my book based on, yeah, like all the stuff I wrote during my eating disorder recovery and what I learned in recovery in a ways to help myself to constantly remember what I need to do. And I wrote my book firstly as a blog posts, and then I put them together like as a book. Of course I added like even more information later on. But yeah, I started to write about my recovery, stuff I learned about recovery while I was still in recovery. And then it kind of naturally evolved into this like helping other people to recover as well, because during this process I became fully recovered. And during this process I trusted the universe that it will lead me to somewhere. And for me, the only thing I must do is somehow like focus on doing what I love, focus on the things I'm good at, focus on like how I want my life to be. Because for example, about like 7 years ago now, in 2010 or 9 or something, I remember so clearly, like I wrote down in my diary that what kind of work I want in my life. And this time I had even no idea that there is such thing as coaching. I don't mean only eating disorder recovery coaching, but also, for example, there is this like health coaching and life coaching, business coaching, and I had no idea about like what is the coaching. And I found out that you can actually coach people in different areas you have learned stuff from. So yeah, but I remember I wrote down in my diary that I want the freedom of working from home, so it's likely to do with my computer actually. And also I wanted to be something with writing or somehow sharing content online. So for me it was very important to like be able to work from home. And I'm not the type of person who likes to be in the office from 9 to 5. I love to work on my like whenever I want and on my own terms, and I want to be my own boss. Yeah, and I want to have my own some kind of business online and helping others, inspiring others. Yeah, and this is what I wrote down. Yeah, but I didn't know it's gonna be involved in eating disorder, because even that time I wasn't even fully in my eating disorder. I had the eating disorder like behaviors, but I didn't have the actual bulimia back then. This is when it kind of started. But yeah, so I had no idea that I will be eating disorder. I will have eating disorder, like let alone I'm gonna be like the eating disorder recovery coach. But yeah, so my suggestion for you is that if you don't even know what you are passionate about or what you like to do, then maybe just write down like the small things you want to do or like to do, or what you're good at. Maybe you are good at drawing, and then maybe you are good at, I don't know, like making videos, and then like maybe someday somehow you can put these two things together. But who knows in what way exactly. Yeah, and even I truly believe in the law of attraction and asking from the universe what you want, and then leave the rest to the universe. And you don't have to know how to exactly get there, but see yourself having this end goal. And for me it was to like work from home, do it from my computer, something to do with writing, inspiring others, sharing my like what I have learned and stuff. And I just left the rest to the universe, and somehow my life led me to now have kind of the job I wished for, even though I didn't know what this job's gonna be. Yeah, so this is how I found myself. And if you are in a current stage of your recovery, you are like, you don't know where it's gonna lead you, what you're gonna do, you have to reorganize all your life, then I would say like simply write down everything you know you're good at, brainstorm some ideas, and just trust the process, and just give it time. Yeah, and focus on doing the things you love, the things you're good at, and just trust that as long as you're following your what you're good at, following your own like intuition, following the being in the flow of universe and not doing what everybody else is thinking it's good for you, but follow your own heart, follow your own passions, and then it will lead you to find your like the right path. Yeah, yeah. So I hope it makes sense, and this is what I wanted to share, kind of how I found my passion, how the whole journey of recovery was for me. And yeah, and actually it passed like 7 years. I have changed my occupation like 4 times. Yeah, because at first I finished the interior design studies, and then I started to be interested in this like raw food, and then I was into this like graphic design, and now I'm this like eating disorder recovery coach, and I just leave it open. Who knows, maybe in a few years I'm gonna be interested in something else. But for me, the most important thing is to always follow my heart and always follow my passion. And that's why I never regret anything, because I know that I didn't do it because of somebody else told me to do it, but I did it because I felt like this is what I love to do right now, and this is all that matters. And yeah, and then I know I'm on the right path if I follow my intuition and my heart. So I hope this video inspired you in some way. You can leave me more questions down below. Maybe I left something out, something important, I don't know. But yeah, so subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and please like this video. And yeah, so thank you for watching, and see you next time.